In order to construct a website in multiple languages in a way that page not found errors are not produced, you need to structure it in a certain way. Way back at the beginning of this course, where I started to talk about the CAM, the categories, articles, and menus, I talked about category structure roughly corresponding to the sitemap. When you work with more than one language on a website, this is a situation where the categories will be slightly different than your sitemap. And what you would like to do is to start with some top-level categories that are for each language. So we should have a top-level English category and a top-level French category. And then underneath of those, we'll have all of the categories that we've just created, for example, for the English side of the website. We can put those all as children of that main English category. And then for the French category, we'll start to create categories for that as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into my category manager, and I'm going to create 2 new categories. So I'm going to click my new button, and I'm going to create one called English. And the language for that category will be English. And I'm going to say Save and New. And my next category will be French. And the language for that category will be French. And I'm going to go ahead and say Save and Close. And you'll see that down here at the bottom, I now have 2 categories here, the English category and the French category. All of the other categories here are assigned a language of all, which is Joomla's default. It assigns the language of all to all the other categories. What I need to do now is take all of these categories that have a language of all, and I need to assign them a language of English, because we're going to differentiate between English content and French content. So to do that, I'm going to just go ahead and check off all of these categories. And I'm going to do 2 things. First of all, down here at the very bottom of the screen, there are some batch processing items that you can do here in Joomla. Rather than going in each one of these categories and resetting the language and so forth, we can go ahead and set all of that stuff in one fell swoop. It's a beautiful thing. So I'd like to change the language here from all to English UK. So all I need to do is say, do it. And you'll see that now all of my categories are assigned to English, which is great. The next thing I need to do is I need to move all of these categories to go under the English category. So to do that, I'm going to check all of these off one more time. And I'm going to move these now to be children of English. So we select the category for move or copy. That category is English. Make sure move is selected, not copy, and then say process. And you'll see now that all of our categories have been moved under English. Unfortunately, in the process of doing this move, the structure of those categories is somewhat destroyed. So we're going to need to go through each one of these and reset the correct parent for each one of these. Uncategorized, about, and news and events are all in the correct place here under English, but news and events, the individual items for news and events, need to be children of news and events. And the visiting exhibits and permanent collections need to be children of collections. So I need to go ahead and adjust those now. I'm going to go into news, and I'm going to change its parent to news and events. Save and close. I'm going to click on events, change its parent to news and events, save and close. And then down here under visiting exhibits, I'll change its parent to collections, save and close. And permanent collections, I'll change its parent to collections, save and close. Now, we had to go through this step of rearranging our categories and changing our structure here because we originally just built this website the way that you would just build a single language website, and now we're somewhat retrofitting it for multiple languages. So we're going through some extra steps here. If you knew from the beginning that you were going to be building a website in more than one language, you would certainly put in these categories for English and French right from the beginning, and then you would go through and add these categories as children of those languages to start with. The other thing I'm going to do while I'm here, now that we've adjusted our categories, is to adjust our articles to make sure that they are all assigned the English language as well. So to do that, I'm going to switch over to articles, which is right here in our secondary navigation. All of the articles on this website currently are all English articles. I'm going to go ahead and check off all of these articles. Just by clicking the single check mark up here on the top, it'll check all of the things underneath. Scrolling down to the bottom of the page and say Set Language as English, and then go ahead and say Process. And now all of our articles are set to English. So we're all set to go there. In the next video, we'll go ahead and start creating some of our French content.